Yeah.
Hey guys, Sean Hammond with PremierGuitar.com coming at you from my basement in Cedar Rapids with another Summer Gear Slam video. We've got Al John at Epiphone headquarters in Nashville, and we have Jeff playing for us. He's across the room with his mask on, social distancing, and we were joking earlier about our grown out hair, or our lack of haircuts and all that. So, but you're looking good, man. We usually see you at Nashville NAMM, and you usually come to Anaheim too, right?
Oh yeah, we're there all
You're
the time.
everywhere.
We're like chip passing in the night, though. It's like sometimes we'll say hey, and then you're off to the next appointment.
Yeah.
I'm off to my next dealer meeting, but that's what happens.
It's good to see you again.
Good to see you, my friend.
So you guys have some guitars. I think at least some of them we saw at Winter NAMM in Anaheim earlier this year. We're going to take a look at a few of them here, 3 of them, I think. And the first one that we just heard from Jeff is the 59.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have the 1959 Les Paul Standard, and as you know, we rebirthed Epiphone for every stage. That's our new tagline, and we're making guitars for everybody and every stage of development. And part of that is now our evolution of Epiphone 2.0 is the fact that we are working in tandem with our Gibson brethren from Custom Shop and USA, Gibson USA, and and Gibson Acoustics. So all of the think tank of the product managers are together. We build great guitars, and this 1959 Les Paul Standard is a culmination of our synergy. I got together with our head of R&D at Epiphone, Richard Akers, as well as Matt Kaler, and a lot of other people. Of course, Cesar is involved, Mark Agnesi, but we got together and we wanted to put together a great, accessible Epiphone that was based on a Custom Shop 1959 Les Paul Standard. And there we have it. You heard it at the top. It's got Gibson USA pickups. It's got the awesome Les Paul look and sound, and it's just very affordable.
Sweet. You want to grab it from Jeff and maybe give us we've got some B-roll close-ups that we'll add in, but it would be cool to see more of a quote-unquote 3-dimensional look at it. Like, oh, it's got a nice, is that like a buffed out finish?
Yeah, so the finish is what we call the vintage aged gloss, and it is not 100% shiny. It has a little bit of that kind of, it looks VOS or vintage spec, so it looks like a vintage style instrument. We started using this finish on the James Nichols and our 1956 Les Paul from a few years back. So it just has a really nice worn in feel. It feels super comfortable, and it's not so glossy, but it's still poly. It's not lacquer.
It's still like it's kind of like a nice middle ground between the nitro cellulose is obviously more work intensive, more expensive, but that's got a lot of that vibe, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's super accessible and it's very comfortable. You've got a non-weight relief body, so it's a solid piece of mahogany with a maple cap, and we've got a AAA veneer on it.
Nice.
Give that nice Custom Shop look. Now, I did say that it's got Gibson USA pickups. These are burst bucker 2 and 3s.
So not some of the other Les Pauls you guys do have pro buckers, but these are actual burst buckers.
Yeah, actually, I take that back. I think they're burst bucker 1 and 2s now that I see.
Okay.
But these are vintage style, patent applied for style pickups that we invented and that Gibson invented. And so those genuine USA made pickups are here in this model. Gives you that nice vintage warm tone, scatter wound. You've got the same bobbins. It's literally the same pickups that Gibson uses on many of their models. So
now what about the fretboard and neck and the tuners and all that? You were mentioning earlier that stuff has changed a bit too.
Yeah, so when we decided to get with Custom Shop, we wanted to make sure we dialed in the neck so that it's as correct as can be. So it's a 59 neck profile, Indian Laurel fretboard. So it's got that look of that nice rich rosewood. You've got the trapezoid inlays on it. It's a nice rounded neck, and you have
the edges. You mean like so it feels really nice in your knuckles or whatever, and the bend of your fingers.
Yeah, yeah, it's a rolled neck, so you're able to take in and not have the sharp edges where the frets and the fret binding is as it
Mhm.
joins the neck and the fretboard. So it's
Nice.
nice, feels super comfortable. The same fret wires Gibson that we're using here, medium jumbo frets.
Hmm.
Got here the Graphtec nut, and then you have the Kalamazoo headstock that everybody loves. The Kalamazoo headstock. You've got here, harkening back to the history tradition of Epiphone and Gibson being made together in Kalamazoo, Michigan, back in 1957-58 when Epiphone and Gibson merged, and the Epiphones were being made side by side with the Gibson with this Kalamazoo headstock.
It's cool because I don't know, I think it's kind of silly, and you probably do, but a lot of players out there don't want to or don't have the money to spend on a higher end Gibson, but they're so like self-conscious or embarrassed about, like, some of the Epiphone headstocks have that more rounded look, and they're like, oh, I can't get it for that or whatever. So that makes those guys feel a little bit better. But I mean, it's kind of silly, but
Yeah, no, I mean,
if it's holding them back, then it's
yeah,
a good change, right?
exactly, right? So, I mean, the thing is, when you buy a Les Paul, you want a Les Paul that, and Les Paul's history with Epiphone is killer because he actually helped, um, basically bring Epiphone into the Gibson fold, in the history book. So in Epiphone, Les Paul was an Epiphone man first before he was with Gibson. So it's really cool that we're able to bring, this together, have the Kalamazoo headstock, which harkens back to as I said, the synergy of our teams coming together that used to be siloed, and now we're coming together. And so when Epiphone and Gibson were being made in the same factory, the same kind of synergy brought this guitar to life. So we're super proud of it. I know the team here at Epiphone really love this guitar, and everyone else will too.
Sweet.
The reviews were really cool, and you can see there the Graphtec nut, and I said
I think you mentioned earlier that the tuners are even a little different, right?
yeah, the tuners have been redone for this, and you can see how they're not that kind of green. They are a little bit more translucent, like, and that's what we were shooting for. We wanted to make sure that this guitar was something that definitely stood out and was different from any guitar that we've done before. That way.
So it's the buttons that is the real difference.
These are
tinting.
press. Yeah, they're press and bushing tuners, just like the 59, with that kind of more historical look in terms of the button, the keystone tuners right there.
Sweet. So what are we going to take a look at next? Oh
yeah, don't forget about this.
Yeah. So it's a limited edition, right?
Limited edition. We're gonna get it while you can over the course of the next year plus, and you never know what we're gonna come out with next. We've got it in vintage sunburst and heritage cherry aged gloss finishes.
Sweet.
And switchcraft parts, toggle switch, switchcraft output jack, and you've got the Mallory capacitors for that vintage sound, CTS pots, and a Archel case. So you got the tan and pink case. So it's a complete package, and it's a killer guitar. And I know you're going to ask me about this, so I'm ready. The price,
yeah, because that's a lot.
$7.99 street price for this.
$7.99. Wow, that's a great deal.
A lot of guitar for the money, for sure.
Yeah. So that's a lot to top. What are we gonna take a look at next?
So here's something. This is an Epiphone original, and I am so happy.
Is it a Wilshire?
Exactly right. So
nice.
Got a Wilshire P90, and yeah, so it's super cool. So we've got a Crestwood Custom that's coming out. We've got a Wilshire. You've got a Coronet, which is a single model P90 that's coming out. But this one here is the Wilshire, and it has the Epiphone badge logo. Also with the Kalamazoo headstock, it's got the vintage tuning keys, the little buttons there.
Nice.
Epiphone Deluxe tuner, so they're legit. You can see the back.
Nice.
Yeah. Graphtec nut on here as well. Of course, as I said, we've got the rolled necks, Indian roll fretboard.
And what's the body on that one? Mahogany?
Yep. It's a mahogany body, mahogany neck, and it is a two-piece, no veneer, two-piece mahogany. And
now, did they originally have P90s? I don't have like an encyclopedic knowledge of these, but so that's the original.
So the Wilshires had several different iterations through the years in terms of humbuckers, as well as P90s. Of course, the Crestwood Custom had the mini humbuckers in there as well. So basically, this is the progenitor. It came before the SG there when they were being in Kalamazoo. So this right here, and it was a favorite of Prince. Prince played one similar. Also, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. Paul Gilbert early on, played Wilshire's a lot. But they're super lightweight, and these guitars are just awesome. Radio Rock, you got that Epiphone insignia there.
Sweet. How much are those going for?
All right, so let me check because I know you're going to be going live. I'm going to pass this along to Jeff. Did you want to hear some of this?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. And so
drum roll.
There it is, Wilshire. So the Wilshire P90s are $449.
Oh, wow.
And they have CTS pots. I'm going to pass this along to Jeff here.
Sweet. While you're doing that, now, are they true P90s or like P100 style stacked ones? Or
these are P90 Pros, so they're based off the Gibson P90s. I'm going to take the gain off here. There you go, Jeff. We're live all the way live. So there we have it. So yeah, they're P90 Pros, and they're based on the Gibson counterparts, made in our plant there. And so there you go. You wanna hear some of it, Sean?
Nice. So that was the neck pickup, right?
That's the neck pickup. Nicely done. Of course, center position, you can just do a couple. There you go.
Sounds great.
Yeah, you want to hear the treble side there?
Yeah.
There you go.
Sounds great. Now I can't remember if we said it earlier, but you guys are being responsible quarantiners, and Jeff is there with a mask on, and we didn't want to make him feel weird by putting him on camera with a big old mask on. You guys are trying to do your part, social distance. So
we're doing what we can.
We're putting in B-roll footage, close-ups of JPEGs and stuff, but we appreciate Jeff, and if you could pass that along, that would be great.
Yes, Jeff, thank you, Jeff.
But don't go anywhere, Jeff, because I think we're going to have him play another one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got one more here. And I'm going to show this off to you first. Here we go. Actually, stand by. So we've got...
he's digging that Wilshire, isn't he?
It's in the mode. He's in the
Good thing you've got control of the mute switch, huh?
I do. Jeff! So what we have here is the Prophecy model.
Mm-hmm.
These Prophecies, once again, there was a sneak peek of the Prophecies over at Winter NAMM. Someone got into the room and showed these. They were not.
You mean like someone snuck in and like?
Someone snuck in. Not going to name any names, but someone snuck in and decided to leak it beforehand. Was just shown mainly to dealers, but I'm glad it actually did leak because everybody went crazy over it. The Prophecy line for Epiphone has been around now for over 10 years, and it really speaks to hard rock metal players. And what we wanted to do is reintroduce it, reimagine it, and put out a guitar that really speaks to what's going on with players that want to play Les Pauls, legit Les Pauls, Explorers, Flying Vs, and
but in a heavier context.
Context, exactly. So I love all kinds of music, but hard rock is definitely something right up my alley. And here you have it. So this right here is.
Are those Fluence Humbuckers in there?
Yeah, so this is our
Nice.
partnership with Fluence. Now, they're not off-the-shelf Fluence humbuckers. These are actually voiced for us specifically. So you have a modern humbucker, and then when you split this, we've got push-pull tone pots here, or volume pots. So when you split it, you go into single coil mode.
Huh.
So you get kind of like a P90 thing going on, and then
So did you have them try to shoot for sort of a Gibson tonality, but with more just hotter and maybe?
Right. So these are, like I said, they're not off the shelf. Fishman Fluence is partnered up, and they took imaging, imaging from our pickups, put it in there. So you've got a modern humbucker to start, then a split coil, then you split the coil, then you get yourself a single coil sound, and then.
Did you say sort of a P90 sound?
P90,
That's cool.
P90,
That's really cool.
And then you flip this, the tone pots, and then you can have a vintage burst bucker. So it's literally, you have so many tone choices on a 4-button configuration. So the SG version of this and the Les Paul will have those. And then you'll have some the most flexibility. And then the 3-knob versions will also have the modern and the classic sound, Gibson sound, and then you're going to have a single coil splittable sound too as well.
It's neat that the P90 is an option, because so often if you split a humbucker, it's just, well, sort of a quasi strat type voicing or something.
Well, that's a great thing about these particular humbuckers with the Fluence. I mean, there's really nothing you can't do with these modern pickups. So I'm gonna show you a quick another rundown of it, but you'll see here, this is a Les Paul, once again, that vintage age gloss finish.
Nice.
This is Tiger Red, Tiger Red. And then you've got here a body with the belly part on the back. You can see the battery compartment for the Fluence. And then as I move here, you'll see part of the modern collection. You see that Gibson modern neck joint here. Great access to the upper frets. These are medium jumbo frets on these.
Now, is it a 24 fret or 22?
24 fret.
Okay. Does that change the scale at all?
The scale is still 24 3/4, but what happens is that you have to scoot this pickup slightly toward the humbucker. So it's
got a little brighter sound to it. A little bit chimier, maybe.
Yep, just a little bit more bright. Then you have an ebony fretboard here, asymmetrical neck, so it conforms to your hand based on the 60s. So it's very slim taper, asymmetrical like our modern Gibson counterparts, the modern collection Gibsons.
And does it have like a compound radius too?
This one right here does not have a compound radius, but it does have the asymmetrical neck, and it is rolled as well.
Cool.
Then you have here the ebony fretboard, as well as this is the nod to Epiphone. This is the block and triangle inlay that
those are cool.
Sheraton.
I like it.
And yeah, so it's slightly tinted to reflect the finish on the guitar. So you see that. Then you have the Graphtec nut, the Epiphone Kalamazoo Headstock custom bound split diamond inlay, and the
really cool.
Yeah, the locking Grovers on here as well.
Oh, nice.
And I'm going to hand this off to Jeff, and he's going to play what those pickups sound like.
Sweet. While you're doing that, I want to say I think I really like those brushed covers on that. Maybe that's something that I just haven't seen before, but it seems like I just haven't seen the brushed Fluence covers before, and I think it looks really nice with that.
Yeah, the whole aesthetic here is very modern, and I like the aesthetic of the brushed nickel tuners, the brushed nickel lock tone hardware. Like the Epiphones have locking hardware on it. A lot of people don't know that's an Epiphone trademark. The lock tone hardware stop tail and Tune-o-matic bridge are all locking, and then you also have the locking Grover tuners, and then the Fishman Fluences, and they're all brushed nickel or brushed chrome for the pickups. But
is that something done special just for you guys to match the other hardware?
Yeah, absolutely. Fishman has, I think, some brushed chrome, and I thought that was a great aesthetic, and we decided to go with brushed nickel hardware on the guitar to kind of complete the look. So,
all right, let's unleash Jeff on that thing.
Jeff, let's get a little gain going. And these, all the push-pull pot should be in the normal position, and we'll do a little treble pickup action. Yeah, just put them all there. Yep. I know there's a lot of. Yeah. Here
Quite
So that was just that was kind of like a
the go-to humbucker.
Go-to humbucker. Now, if you want to go ahead and do the volume and split the volume or lift up the volume pots.
So this is sort of the P90 voicing on the bridge.
Voicing, yeah. You can go ahead and keep it on the treble side, and then you just lift up the volume. Go ahead, you pull on it. There you go. You can keep the volume. There you go. I'm gonna put some gain on it. Here's some gain.
That P90 voicing sounds really good, and when you on the lower gain setting, it had some nice twang to it.
It does, and if you want, Jeff, you can go ahead and push the volumes in, and then go ahead and pull the tone controls, and then what'll happen is you'll get that kind of that original Burstbucker Gibson sound. Yeah, you can stay on treble just to. Add some little dirt if I need. So yeah, you can basically.
So that's all just the bridge pickup so far.
Yeah, that's just the bridge. If you want to hit the neck, you can go to neck pickup with that voice. And did you? Yeah, there you go.
So this is the Burstbucker neck.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's awesome. You know, so it's super versatile, and I think just for giggle's sake, you should see this new Extura. And
is this kind of the same thing in the Explorer style?
Exactly, the Explorer style. This is a Purple Tiger. You can see
nice.
here.
That's cool.
Les top here, same appointments as the Les Paul, and all of these models will have these kind of
nice.
this right here, a nice modern neck joint, so you can have unprecedented access to all 24 frets, and you'll have here the Epiphone logo.
Nice.
Locking Grovers, six on a side.
Sweet. What are the radiuses on these? Are they different on the Futura? On these two last ones that we've seen?
Yeah, this is actually, it's funny you say it's a Futura. It's actually the Extura, Explorer and Futura.
Yeah, I was thinking, I screwed up.
It's fine. It's just a standard 12-inch radius on the.
But it's a more modern radius than on the other ones we've seen, right?
Yeah.
Like on the 59, does it have that radius?
We might want to go back and take that out. But yeah, it's just the standard Gibson radius on everything for the moment. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So how much are these two, the last two we've seen, how much are they going to go for?
So $899.
Really?
$899.
Man, those are some sweet deals.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an amazing guitar for the money, for sure. So yeah, we're super impressed with them.
All right, Al John. So we've seen some really cool electric so far. And before we go, you wanted to show us a new acoustic, right? What are we going to hear?
So right now we are doing inspired by Gibson acoustics. And once again, we have here something that we haven't had, all solid wood, top, back, and sides.
Is that a Hummingbird?
Bird.
Nice.
So this Hummingbird, once again, a culmination of everything that we're doing at Gibson Acoustic, which is working with the Gibson Acoustic team. Of course, our own Epiphone Master-Built Originals came out at NAMM. You had the Frontier, you had the Excellente, and the Texan, all solid wood, back and sides. You had the dovetail neck joint, Graphtec nut, all solid woods, and the pick guards were amazing. They're cast just like the similar to the Gibsons, and we're doing the same thing with these as well. Just a very accessible price point, for these guitars.
What is the price point?
So they start at $599 for the J45, $599, $699, $799, $899, J200 in that price range.
And what are the woods? Are they just sort of the traditional, or obviously the wood market is changing a lot right now? Is it spruce and mahogany, or like other alternatives?
Yeah, so we're using solid spruce tops here. You can see also in this Hummingbird, it's just like the Gibson. So you've got the mahogany, bound mahogany, back and sides, mahogany neck. Once again, rolled neck for comfort. Indian laurel fretboard, split mother of pearl inlays here, parallelograms.
Nice.
Graphtec nut, the Hummingbird truss rod.
I imagine that the bracing is traditional, just like the originals. And
exactly, they're scallop bracing, made just like the Gibsons, dovetail neck joint, and it's a hide glue dovetail neck joint, which is something that we've been known to do with our master builds, and we're doing it with these inspired by Gibson acoustics as well.
Now, I think I spied some controls inside that sound hole. Is that right?
That's right. So we are using the Fishman Sonotone pickup system in here, so volume and tone controls, and you'll hear them here momentarily.
Now, is the Sonotone, it's hard to keep track of all of them sometimes, is that just an under-saddled transducer? There's no like second element like a microphone or contact mic or anything, right?
That's right. Okay. Yeah. It's, with the non-cutaway guitars, we wanted to maintain that kind of integrity of the body. So we use that Fishman Sonotone under saddle to make sure that it didn't do it. Now there is a cutaway J45, and we do have a J45 that will have the Precis pickup system in it, built-in tuner and all the cool stuff in there that the Precis does with the volume tone controls. But this one with the Sonotone, I think it just is exceptional, with the style of guitar, non-cutaway. You've got the belly up bridge, and also in vintage aged gloss finishes. So just like the Jared Nichols and our original Epiphone master builds, these inspired by Gibsons will have that nice kind of, it almost looks aged, but once again, they're not. It's a really thin layer of poly on there. So it looks like a vintage instrument. And this right here is that kind of natural Hummingbird. And then Justin's playing a kind of a faded cherry.
Cool.
They look exceptional. So did you want to hear some of it?
Yeah. And if there's nothing else that you want to tell us or show us, how about we have Justin play us out, and you tell people where to go online to find out more.
Okay, great. So for more details on that, our Epiphone originals are inspired by Gibsons. Check out epiphone.com and all your social media. So, yeah.
And don't forget to subscribe too, so you don't miss out on any other Summer Gear Slam videos, guys.
Absolutely, Sean.
Thank you, Al John. It's great to see you. Please tell Jeff and Justin thanks for playing for us, and we'll see you guys later.
I will. Justin, take us out. Bye.